Comrades power! Comrades power! Many years back, kutoka Mombasa, I traveled by bus to come to Eldoret to join Moi University way back in 1995. I did not know then that Moi University and the great city of Eldoret was going to be the beginning of my political career in this country. It is for that reason today that we have decided, in the same vein and in the same breath, that once upon a time, when a platform was created for us to engage government, it is today for that reason, myself, my brother Aaron Cheriot, my sister Cecily Mbarire, who together we lead the UDA party, who are all students leaders, decided that we must engage the comrades directly. I am grateful for one thing today before the Almighty God, that in you, the conversation in this country must shift. With the same passion, you must discuss healthcare, you must discuss the new funding model, we must discuss agriculture, we must discuss everything. We must shift the conversation from ethnicity to issues. And that's what the Kenya Kwanza government has tried to do. Nyote hapa, hakuna mtu amezungumza kabila yake, hakuna mtu aliyezungumza kikao chake ama kule anatoka. Nyote mlizungumza yale malalamishi na zile issues that affect you directly. And for that we are extremely grateful. Number two, I want to assure you, this platform is not a platform in futility. It will not be in vain. One or two of you came with a good idea. And they came to the UDA Secretariat to say, under the leadership of Brian and others, that it is important to create a platform to engage the youth directly, particularly students in institutions of higher learning. They are not puppets, they are not sellouts, they simply came with a good idea that we embraced. That good idea, sometimes you might come with a good idea, but other people might improve it for you. There will be an opportunity for Brian and Deborah and everybody else who sit in the governing council, that within these students, they will ask that those who they elect democratically for you to pave way as interim officials. That is something that will happen in due course, and eventually it must happen. But first and foremost, we must finish our circuit all over Kenya. We have 4 or 5 more town halls to go, so that we are more representative in terms of the conversation. Finally, I was very excited that young lady who spoke there is actually going to be a leader. Her only question was, how do I take over this party? Bona mumesema bona election haziendelei. It is the pragmatic thing to do. For you to capture power, you must be in institutions that compete for power. They manifest themselves in political parties. So hata kama uko na ari nyingi, hata kama uko na changamoto nyingi, if you do not anchor your effort in political organizations, those that are established, those that you will establish, your effort is in vain. That's why you don't need to be leaderless, you don't need to be faceless, some of you need to emerge as the leaders of those organizations. Now this is not only the present, the UDA is conscious that the future of this country and the present of this country, of this party, is within the youth. And for that reason, the elections as suggested or proposed will proceed, hopefully from January. Moving forward, we will proceed with the elections. Those of you ambao wanataka uongozi, kuchaguliwa ndani ya chama na kuchaguliwa katika nyadhifa tofauti, the party will hold free and fair elections, so that hata hii kiti ya SG, hata hii kiti ya treasurer, hata hii kiti ya chairperson, zote will be up for grabs. So therefore, it will be for us to compete or for you to win these seats. We are only holding this party in trust for you, so that once the grassroots elections are concluded, those who will be elected popularly will represent this party and take it to the next level. Finally, I think I'm happy that these men and women here have taken the courage to come and face the questions in terms of a town hall. The most effective, tested and trusted avenue of direct democracy is through town halls. We will continue to have these town halls, no matter how emotional they are, no matter how sometimes anxious they become, because it is not in our interest to stage manage these things. It is our interest to hear an honest conversation from the youth of this republic, represented by the cream who sit in institutions of higher learning. Lastly, hata kama yule alisema mtu fulani alitolewa haraka, wajua sasa deputy president anatoka Moi University, yule anaingia SG ya chama anatoka Moi University. Hiyo Moi University haiwezi kwenda mahali, itabakia tu, because I will not have a degree in my office that has no institution. Simi nimeweka hapo degree na ile foundation of knowledge. My life was largely in Keses and Cheptiret. I believe the university, and Professor Bachuki will explain that, the whole idea was to ensure that universities are made sustainable. Mimi nilikuwa at the same time at the university, Moi University, na Professor Machuki. Professor Machuki was studying economics, I was studying law. He made the right decisions, I didn't. In a light touch. Professor remembers very well, at that time, Professor used to get 40,000 in student loan through the Higher Education Loans Board. I used to get 18,000. Sijui kwa nini walinipa 18,000, lakini mimi pia nilijihisi ni maskini. Lakini it is because of the information we provided. Niliandika iko kanyumba kadogo, babangu ali-inherit. So ikanipeleka credit yangu ikawa juu. Nikaandika niko na kitu nyingine kidogo, ni watu mama ako naye, ikapeleka credit yangu juu. Labda Professor Machuki aliandika hakuna nyumba, hakuna kazi, hakuna chochote. Ikasema yeye hapa yote, mimi nikanyimwa nusu. So we need to have a way that we engage to ensure that this system is foolproof. Hata katika ulimwengu, Professor usema kila siku, there are haves and have nots. Kuna wale ni matajiri. Wale matajiri hawawezi kupatiwa ufadhili wa serikali na kuasi maskini apate elimu. We must be a just and equitable society. A just and equitable society means we must have social justice to make those who are worse off better off before those who are better off become well off. And that's what we must do. We must put money to ensure that we bridge the deficit in healthcare, we bridge the deficit in education, we bridge the deficit in housing, so that those who are less fortunate are made to have a dignified life and to be given a fighting chance. And the only equalizer in society, the reason I was in Senate with the son of the former President Daniel Moi was not because of anything else. Outside God, it was because of education. Education is an enabler, education is an equalizer. So we want to ensure kila kijana anapatiwa fursa ya kusoma, so that we are not creating a cadre of lords because they can afford education and creating those of the lower classes because they can't afford education. Na hii serikali yetu campaigned on a platform of giving hope to the hopeless, of giving opportunity to those who are not in the economic prism, a platform of inclusion called the Hustler Agenda. That is the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which is an inclusive agenda to ensure that there is education opportunities for all Kenyans, the rich and the poor. Kwa hivyo, tafadhalini, tukija kwa hizi town hall, we have come to engage constructively because we are honest, we want honesty, and we have come here today to hear you. Na kijana ndugu yangu hapo, tumekusikia. Kijana pale, tumekusikia. We take notes. Na wale yule mwanadada, tumekusikia, wanaotaka uchaguzi, na wale waliosema hakuna student agenda. There is a lot. We have said the new funding model has been the most pressing issue within the students, and that's why Professor Mathuki spoke to it. The housing agenda, to bridge the housing deficit or the accommodation deficit in the universities, has been another. And as we progress, we will come to know more and more of what are the things that we devil, or the things that are of a great concern to you. And finally, the instructions I have from His Excellency the President is to ensure